Endrae Barry. I'm a medic with the 23rd Brigade, working in the stabilization unit here in the Ukraine. I'd read about it and seen it on the television, but was unaware that I could join. And then a friend of mine he'd passed when he was over here. He fought on the Dnipro front, and I realized that I could join, and I applied straight away. So that's why I'm here. I'm a nurse. I've been an emergency nurse for 20 odd years. I've been a soldier for most of my life, and I have the skills that I think I can actually make a little bit of a difference here, and I hope I am. It's an amazing place to be. I took a little bit of reassurance because everybody thinks, like Trump says, the whole country is flat and ruined. I have been driven through some of the most beautiful parts of the world I've ever seen. Well cultivated little houses with little plots of land, everybody's growing their own food, everybody's kind, and it's a beautiful place. And I just tell them it's good. There are risks, but there are risks in everything. And as long as you plan for them and train, then you mitigate them. I'm in a good place. As a medic, I'm not a frontline person, so the family and friends are reassured by that, I hope. Well, the first reaction was that I joined the International Legion, and they were very strong alpha-type males with people from all around the world. Somali, Spanish, Americans, English, but everybody just came together. There was a motorcycle gang member and a London policeman who were the best of friends because they came in, they sat down, and suddenly they just started chatting. And I was in a room with, well, about 20 different people, and not one of them was the same nationality. It was brilliant. But everybody came together as a team, and that was my first impression of the people and the teamwork. But going through the country, it was just beautiful, and it was, wasn't what was presented by other countries in the media. Yes, I was a boy soldier. I joined at the age of 15. I was an Argyll and Sutherland Highlander. We call them jocks in frocks because I've got my kilt on and things. I did a couple of years with the British Army. I trained as a nurse, joined the New Zealand Army. I had a short stint with the Saudi Arabian military. I did 18 months in Saudi Arabia. And when I left the army, I decided to travel. So I ended up New Zealand, Australia, and that's when I heard that I could come over to the Ukraine. And I thought, I'm not too old that I can help out here. So this, I think, would be my final military stint, but who knows? Well, with all military services, there are different ways of doing things. But my boss is really good, and everybody here has been trying to teach me Ukrainian. But I'm that bad at it. Everybody around me is learning English, so I'm not sure quite what's happening there. So but everybody's really good with their communication with me. They speak slow. Everybody's very patient. I'm trying really hard, but of course, in one ear, out the other. I get the basics, but yeah, the language has been the thing. That's the only thing I've run into here. There's very simple little words, and it's really profound for me. Is as soon as people realise that I'm from another country, I mean, even when they're injured, they always seek me out and say thank you, and I find that really hard to deal with. It's just you get a bit of an emotional rush from it, and it makes me very proud to be here. That's everybody's been good. They always smile. And two things, being Scottish, whiskey, kilt. I'm like, yeah, I've got both. I'm in with a fantastic team. You've met them. They are funny, they are kind, and they're focused on the patients. And I'm learning every day. This is a completely different style of military medicine. And I'm learning the way they do things, different way that they process, different ways that they work. And it's adding to my toolbox for when this is all over, I go back to nursing, that I will have. So I'm getting a lot out of this. Well, when I was in Afghanistan, they had 6 beds in Bagram, and the patients would come in. We had a surgeon. The teamwork was there, but it was the Americans have got a very distinct way of doing things, and they have absolutely everything you need. You know, they've got a CT, they've got a theatre 20 feet away, and all the rest of it. We don't. So there's a lot of common sense, and they call it, you know, Kiwi, Australian ingenuity, where you think and you work things out. And I'm amazed at how they manage to juggle. This person goes here, this person goes here. As you can see, we're restricted by space, but there's no bumping. It's like when you go into a world-class kitchen, people moving around each other, and you wonder, how don't they scold each other? Why don't they just move? It's orchestrated, and it's really good to see. I think nobody likes bullies. I don't think that the whole selling off, I don't want to get political, but you know, if someone's drowning, you don't say, hey, that's a lovely watch. You give me your watch, I'll pull you out of the water. You help that person, and then afterwards you say, I'll buy that watch off, and you have a chat if you want it, but you don't ask a drowning man for something that he's got. You help, you know, that's a decent thing to do. And I think that that's perhaps what they should be doing at the moment. I think people across the sea need to be a little bit kinder. This country is not broken and smashed. It is, there are places right at the front where it's happened, but it's a beautiful country full of people who are incredibly helpful and incredibly kind and just want to live in peace. Oh, when I was a young boy in the 1980s, Ukraine was still part of the Soviet Union, and it was the Russians, and we thought everything was, you know, everything was grey and the old 1984 type thing. But coming over here, everybody seems to be very happy, very cosmopolitan, and it's just like every other country, just with a different language. Lovely cultures, but I think it's got a great way of life. With you got your house, you got a little plot of land. Everybody grows their own food, you know, parts of their food and things, and even our rations come from the locals as well. I was thoroughly impressed with that. You know, I've eaten duck, quail eggs. People bring in fish. Not keen on it, but they go out and they fresh fish, and it's there every day. I've never eaten so well, genuinely. In the field, it's usually a tin of something horrible. But here, I eat really well. You can see what the food and people bring in cakes. It's it's good. Kindness. People here are incredibly kind. They're patriotic, and there's been no talk of, you know, bad things. It's just, we're going to do this, and they do it. But everybody's just incredibly kind. From the little old lady on the thing who says thank you. You know, you're going along, they hear your accent, they see the uniform, and they're just kind. And that's what I'm going to take away from here. Well, I mean, as a medical professional, come on over. You don't have to work at the front line. Ask if you can help at the back. There's a need here. You can go around the world and work in places where, you know, you will only do a tiny bit of a job. Here you'll get to use your skills. Here you'll get to actually be thinking on your feet, and you'll be working with people who are patient-focused, trying to do a job. I've worked in other countries where it's bureaucracy and that tends to bog you down. Here, you're here for a job and you can get on with it. And I think if you want an experience of war trauma and emergency, this is the place to come and get it. In Afghanistan, I was in a place called Bamiyan, which is, you know, the Buddhas? The Bamiyan Buddhas, beautiful, beautiful Buddhas the Taliban blew up. There it was what we called a PRT. It was a provincial reconstruction team. So we weren't technically war fighting. There was a couple of instances where we got ambushed and things. But we were trying to be more working with the locals and things. Here, there is a very definite aggressor. Here, there is very definite injuries. Some of them are very similar, and I was actually just putting together some things on things that I remember from, like injuries to the eye, saying you need to wear your ballistic glasses and keep the floor clean, because what we realised was when an IED hits, anything that's on the ground or your vehicle comes up. And And boys are grubs, and they'll do their practice shoots. They'll leave a can of Coke on the floor, and that gets hit and hits you in the face. So little tips like keep the floor clean. Don't put things in front of you, because if you get an ID, or you get hit by a mine, or that's what you're going to get. Certain patterns of injuries, like with ruptured eardrums. I've got a friend looking into just cracking the windows in the vehicles, because that pressure doesn't get a chance to build up and pop the eardrums. So I'm just writing it up and passing it up the line to say, as a lessons learned, as a PowerPoint, to say, push it to the medics, who will push it to the soldiers. Everybody's got a phone. It's a 5-minute read when they're bored, and they can just have a look, just to tell them how to look after their eyes, after an IED or something, or protect their hearing. So yeah, it's adding to the body of knowledge. I have friends who are professors and things, and senior emergency consultants, and they're sending me information saying, what you've got over there, and obviously I'm seeing, tourniquet placements and these points, and it's all evolving and learning as we go. So yeah. I stand with Ukraine. Join us.